Defendant HHS is in the process of working with vaccine manufacturers and fertility production of pilot vaccines lots for the H5N1 and H9N2 strains. Okay, what I forgot to mention was, and I believe it's in this report, it might have been in another one we posted, but before Barack Obama left office, he did a lot of his assigned wicked tasks in his last 2 weeks. He had these adjudicants added to already ready vaccines. And adjudicants can be aluminum, and other than oils that they put in them. And the vaccine companies didn't stop using formaldehyde because parents complained. It interrupted the process. To understand this, if you're having a hard time, genetically modified organisms create your food. That piece of corn that you see, your eyes see a piece of corn. It cooks like corn. It doesn't really smell like corn, but sometimes it smells like corn. But it doesn't taste like corn. And your body, when you eat it, knows it isn't corn. Your body sees it as it is, a huge parasite. So once it hits the stomach, it starts attacking the food. What you think is corn, it's attacking a huge parasite or a bunch of parasites, because that is what the food is. The food is made up of parasites. And every virus and every bacteria is made of parasites. Oh, that's a big secret, and everybody will argue and blah, blah, blah. And I really don't give a fuck what you say. And you can argue and yell at me till the cows come home. But that's the honest to God truth. Every disease is a parasite, and that is why they are so easy to manufacture new ones. Because you are what you eat, and a parasite is what it eats or is fed. And on we go. Defend it. DHS has prepared. Oh, I already read that. Okay. The FDA is responsible. So you have, your president saying, "Oh, we're going to help the American people. We're going to save the American people. We're going to vaccinate the American people," knowing that this is the time we're going to kill the American people with the virus. And then the media and everything's all controlled and say, oh, there's an outbreak of this here, a swine flu outbreak of here, and then it looks like the disease X here is in the middle of the heartland where you grow crops. And those people that have been underwater will probably the first ones who suffer from the waterborne disease they put out there. And then the FDA is responsible for making sure it's not in your food. The FDA is responsible for making sure it's in your food. The DHS is there to blame Russia or China or North Korea, somebody. So they can go over there and bomb them. They'll probably blame Iran. Who knows? Pick somebody. So Michael Levitt isn't there, but this is important. Defendant Human Service Secretary Michael Levitt, gee, I wonder where he came from, introduced a new FDA rules in January 2006 that preempted any state laws that allow citizens to sue drug makers for producing unsafe drugs and unsafe vaccines and blah, blah, blah. So he's the culprit. But it's just like what we explained on the companies like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. They are just lucky schmucks that the government picked to run a corporation that they invented and designed. And that concludes this. So I hope that gives you a better understanding. So you have, like, that, the best way to explain this. Here you have a set of people who have infiltrated every organization, every government that has all the power and has all the say on what goes. But that doesn't mean there's no hope. The American people have to do is, and we've posted it a few times, and this is from our founding fathers, the document that backed up the U.S. Constitution. And I'm going from memory here, but basically, to summarize it says, any laws passed that do not agree with the U.S. Constitution are illegal laws, and the makers and the passers of those laws, they're supposed to be fined. Like back then, it's $10,000. And $10,000 back then is probably like a few million now, or maybe even a billion, who knows. But the idea of finding them and relieving them from their post with an automatic jail sentence of 6 months, which probably should be life now, because 6 months back then you wouldn't live in a jail cell very long, because back then they didn't have the running water. They had open prisons and wet, muddy floors, and a lot of people just got sick and died. But in any event, the document is clear. And that's again where our military, our generals, who just don't enforce, don't defend, they just kill. See if I can find that document. I don't know if it's still posted, but I think it might be. That's one you're not taught about in school, that enforces the U.S. Constitution by saying if any laws are passed, or if they even try to alter the Constitution, that these people should be immediately arrested. And it'll take us a long time to get it sorted out, to get to the point where we're back in implementing what was meant to be. If somebody passes unconstitutional law, that they get their ass thrown in jail. But until then, this piece of paper has to be our battle cry. Otherwise, we're going to go down without a fight. So, we had better unite. And a message to all you immigrants that are not paid to come here and cause problems. Like refugees that they promised the world to you because we bombed your country, not we, the U.S. government. People in South America where you're being given money, probably by source organizations or whatever, to come to America in those caravans, saying that you're going to have a great life here and there's opportunities and yada, yada, yada. They are herding you into a country they plan to depopulate. Let that sink in. And the Muslims, they herded in all over the world. That was all a stage play. Although they plan to pick radical Islam as the public forced religion, which is Islamic religion that is practiced by most Muslims. It is the made-up religion from Israel, the Mossad. And those men out there that you saw cutting off the heads of the children were Mossad agents, or Israeli soldiers. And the locals, during interviews with reporters on the ground that weren't like Megyn Kelly, of course she probably never went over there, but that was bad at choice. But geez, it's been so long since I watched regular TV. You know how they used to send Tom Brokaw or one of those high names, or over on the battlefield, which they probably really never went. It was probably a backdrop or something. But in any event, what I'm trying to say is people that you wouldn't recognize their name, gone over there, independent media, interviewed a lot of people, and the locals would tell you that they were Israeli soldiers. And I guess there's one example I can bring to you is when, gosh, who was that? Who does that Sawyer woman work for? Well, anyways, one of those men from the Sawyer network, whoever she is, anchor something or other, just some kind of report. Anyways, they sent one of the guys over there to Syria. And the young boy was explaining to him, well, he was probably 18, but he looked like he was 16, explaining how they respected Assad and everything that Assad did for the people. And he was explaining the schools. And he actually pointed out, he said, because the reporter had asked about women being forced to wear the hijabs and all that. And he said, no, look over there. And the camera panned over there. And there's women in jeans and miniskirts, talking, and schoolgirls. And then they panned over to a group of women, I shouldn't say, but a group of women in the hijabs or hijabs or whatever, and their muumuu dresses that go down to the floor. And when the kid left, the reporter said, well, he's probably going to be taken and beaten somewhere for if he didn't say that Assad was such a great person. And I guess that's the best example of what I'm trying to say about something, because I'm losing train of thought. Damn it, somebody keeps knocking on my fucking window. Excuse my language. And I just don't know what they want. Oh, plus knocking on the window. I don't live in the best of neighborhoods, so I better go check it out. And I want to thank you for listening. And we hit 100 subs, and that means a lot. It means a lot to me. And I know deep down it means a lot to Gideon, too. Because the 100 people that listen to our channel are actually 100 people who want to make a difference, who want to know the truth, no matter how ugly it is or how wicked it is. And we honor you 100 people by saying thank you. And may the Heavenly Father and Mother send you your heart's desires immediately and have many blessings bestowed upon you and your family and your loved ones. And, of course, your pets. Till next time.